Welcome. This is a presentation from DIY Marketing, where we say, yes, you can. Now, roll up your shirt sleeves and get out your elbow grease. You're going to learn how to become a dynamic DIY marketer.
Hi, I'm Lauren Darr, coming to you from DIY Marketing, and we are going to talk about credibility building collateral materials for your business. There are several materials out there that you can use, and they're somewhat underutilized, and they're great for establishing credibility for you or your business, no matter whether you're a small business, an entrepreneur, or even a solopreneur. So collateral materials can be either printed or electronic. It depends on the budget that you have, and the costs have significantly decreased over the years with things like print-on-demand technology. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, distribution barriers, for example, like within the publishing industry, are now lowered and, frankly, kind of becoming extinct because of the advent of the internet and being able to distribute collateral materials more readily and easily. So let's dive in and talk about some of the collateral materials that you might use for your business. One thing that you might consider is doing case studies. You can have these on your website or available in PDF format and or print them out. They're great for projects that you've had as long-term implementation solutions projects, especially for software companies. These are great so that you can show a cost-benefit analysis and show how your client had a fabulous return on their investment by using your product or solution. Another thing that you might want to consider is user reports. These are written from the viewpoint, obviously, of the user, and many times, frankly, a professional PR person has written them for a company. But if you're on a really strict budget, you can write them yourself. The users themselves many times will feel uncomfortable writing these things up, so it's something that if you're trying to get a user report out of someone, you really want to consider offering having a professional do it or doing an interview and writing that yourself. It needs to include what their experience was with your company, not just with your product, but also on the back end. What was it like dealing with your company from a sales and customer service standpoint, and how they went through that process. These are also great for creating pitches to the media, also at a later date. Another thing to consider is white papers. Now, these are a more technical form, a little less dry, a lot more factual. They get into the nuts and the bolts and the nitty-gritty of how something works, whether it's a technology or a solution of some sort. And many times they're presented at trade shows. So if you plan far enough in advance, you can submit an abstract to a trade show to try and get your white paper accepted. But I will say, some of the major trade shows, they have at least a 6-month lead time on that. So it's something you really do need to plan in advance for your solution or technology. Get that information in and submitted. Now, once you're ready to do your white paper, be sure to include technical drawings, some statistics, and make sure there's an understanding of how this is an overall benefit to the industry and or the marketplace. It really does need to be educational and factual to be a white paper. Now, the last thing that I want you to consider that a lot of companies are not doing, but it's becoming a lot more popular because of the barriers being reduced in the field of publishing, is books. You can do these electronically, and it's very easy now with Apple in the iBook store being able to create that content with some of the new apps that they've released, and with Amazon, going on to Amazon and creating your own ebooks there. They've purposefully made it a low barrier to entry in order to do that, at least electronically. But it is also easier to publish books printed And it used to be that the concern was to have to print thousands of books at a time, and that would be very expensive to do. But technology has changed to the point where books can now be produced as print on demand. So what would you cover in a book? Well, if you are a thought leader in a certain industry, over a solution or a process, or you're looking to promote a certain type of standard in an industry, those are things that are great to have in the form of a book. Make sure that it's educational and informative, and that it's not just one great big brochure for your company, though, so that it's meaningful to your customer base. So I'm Lauren Darr, and that's a little bit about credibility building collateral materials. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you. Submit them on our website, and I will see you next time around.
This has been a presentation of DIY Marketing. Thank you for joining us. Now get out there and market, because oh yes, you most certainly can.